to Lehigh River Subdivision. I'm Ian, and today we're going to be taking a trip down memory lane. So May 4th of 2022 would mark 2 years since I started construction in the basement on the layout. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go back to when it looked like this. And what we're going to do is you're going to see how I progressed from that to what you see in front of you right now. So mainly what we're going to be looking at in this video is the bench work, the track laying, and how I came up with the track plan that you see in front of you. I went through all my old videos. I edited it down, I cut it, but this still is going to be a longer video. But this video is for newer subscribers or people who just want a refresher that have been with me since the beginning and watching this whole thing unfold. But what I went back and did was I cut out like a lot of the thought process from the videos because I've changed my mind throughout the 2 years of building this layout of what stuff was going to be, where stuff was going to be, and how it was going to unfold. And it'll continue to change from what even you hear today. And that's the thing with a model railroad. You got to keep an open mind and be open to changes. And that's how you come up with a really good plan, is don't be set on something, because we don't always think clearly every day. And some days your mind might be better than another. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at that through the older videos that I've edited. And what we're going to do after that is I'm going to take a walk around the layout so you can see it as it sits. Like some things that I kept out was like putting this road in, for example, because there's 3 videos on how I did the road. And it would just make this video too long if I added in all the little scenery details that I have done so far. So we're just going to glance at those, and then I'm going to leave links to all the videos, like doing the tunnel work, doing the road work. I'll leave those links in the description if you want to go back and see how that stuff was done. So mainly this is just an overview of the layout for the last 2 years, how we got to here, and that's it. I don't want to talk too much because this video is going to be long, so let's hop on into it, and I hope you enjoy taking a trip back, and we're starting at ground 1 and work our way to here. Hello, welcome back to Lehigh River Subdivision. I'm Ian, and this is my first layout update. So this weekend I was able to start some of the bench work. This is the most important piece. This is the back wall, where you can see these 2 tracks laid out. The reason there's 2 tracks, there's a layout, basically doubles around on itself. So this is the only spot that there will be a set of tracks that aren't seen, and that would be the set in the back, because it's coming through this bench work. The bench work was notched out 2.5 inches from the top, leaving 3 inches below for joists for the trains to run through the bench work so you won't see them. Plus it gives me access up through the joists in case of a derailment. So the way I was able to do this that was easy was I tacked scrap pieces on, measured that it would be equal all the way across so we're level, and they can just set right in on there. They'll be glued in place. I had cut them late in the day yesterday and never fastened them. One piece is 4 foot long. The other piece is 8 foot long. This is my bridge. The bridge was already together, but I had about 2 hours of woodworking to do to it to get it to the point that I was ready to throw a coat of primer on it. It's 4 foot long, 11 3/4 inches tall. There's 8 spans in it, or 8 arches. It's based off the Staruka Viaduct in Lanesboro is where I got the idea for it. It fits double track Kato, right on top in the middle. So we were able to get 3 pieces of bench work up this weekend. There's an 8-foot section, a 4-foot section on the back, combining for 12. And that 8-foot section that comes off the back wall to there
I finished off with the build on the back part there, and this front section was framed, but it did not have plywood or foam. I got that done on Friday. This is the track coming out of the back underneath the main part of the city. That's 4 inches higher. It comes out around on this piece, and it heads over here to the peninsula part of the layout. This cutout right here is where the bridge goes. So this will be cut out and go down below the layout about a foot, and this will be a whole nother scene and maybe potentially another level. So moving on to the other side, I got this part of the layout built. This is a 3-foot section that comes out off the back wall. It still gets 3 more feet right here to come out and be about flush with the stairs. It also will be framed sort of similar to this because it has a horseshoe curve on it as well to come back down on this side. And then everywhere that it loops around on itself will have a scenery divider. Last time I did an update video, I was working on the framing for this peninsula section. I got that done, the plywood in place, the foam on top, cut it into a circle because I wanted to have a nice round edge to come around. And then in here I have a 45 to give an opening inside the inner part. You have some room to move around. There's 4 feet in between 2 sections. I cut plywood for the back wall section here and foam for this piece. None of that's fastened yet. I'm waiting for insulated rail joiners to come for the track that runs underneath in the back so I can set it up for blocks for the DCC. Once that's all done, I am going to fasten the top down. Underneath, we drilled through and got the switch wires down through for the 2 switches there, and then I started putting the DCC feeders in on this section of track down through. And there's the train in the hidden track. I fastened all the grade in place, as you can see as well. And the grade starts all the way over here. This is the start. And it comes down around here. It rises 2 inches. It's a 2% grade from Woodland Scenics. Right before the bridge, it levels out. I just used pieces of foam that I had left over from putting it down on the table, and pieces of 2-inch foam I had. This is just a temporary bridge for now. The bridge is in the garage. I painted it today, but it needs a few more coats. This is just 2 inches here. It stays flat. The grade starts again here in the bend. Climbs the last 2 inches over to here. Somewhere in here is going to be the start of a small yard. Welcome to Lehigh River Subdivision. I'm Ian. This is 7 months of not getting your hair cut, and this is layout update number 7. Okay, starting with the layout progress. Nothing new over here other than I had a gallon of paint that I found from the previous homeowners. So I painted the panel on this wall and the far wall over there and behind the bench work back there. It actually brightened it up nicer down here, and it doesn't feel so much like a dungeon. So with that being said, I added in this little piece is like 6 inches to come out and meet the other side that pops out there. The bridge, I don't believe it was in place last time, but it wasn't fastened. The bridge is now screwed in place, and that's not going anywhere. I added the foam into the cutout, and then I just threw some trees and the house in to, get an idea and feel for things on how I want to do the scenes of the layout. Moving around, before we go inside, This benchwork piece is in, framing's done, and the curve is built. So this is a section that will be starting back there, Whitehaven, coming down through the Lehigh Gorge. And I ripped out all the foam risers I put in from this point all the way to the other side right here. And then I redid it with a 2-inch foam because this is the train yard. I got the crossover in, started laying some tracks to get a feel. I think the yard tracks will fit about 25 cars, give or take, maybe a little more depending on the length of them. I mean, obviously with something like the auto racks, it's going to fit a lot less. Moving along, I just laid out the track this way, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be the track plan, coming down the back and then coming down along here onto the new section. And then I got the foam risers for this section of the layout. So we're going to come around to the bridge, and if you haven't noticed yet, the last piece of the divider for this section is in place. And this whole section is completely closed off now. Moving around, come to the inside, you can see what this now looks like, closed off. This section, there really isn't much room to work with between the rail line and the backdrop, so there's probably going to be a picture backdrop right here, and then I'll use trees or something to fill in that little bit of gap to give it, you know, we'll use some type of forced perspective there to add depth since it's so shallow. And then following around, there's been nothing new with the yard. I did figure out the track plan for the top here. So we got the curve, the straight, and it comes back to these S curve right here. So moving along and follow the track around, there's, you know, where it would join together. I've tested it, it all fits together, so this is more than likely how this part of the track plan is going to stay. So you got the curve coming out. This straightaway will have a number 4 Kato switch coming off, I think, for a lower loop in the future. And we got the S curve coming down. This is where I was going to have the Lehigh Gorge. I think I'm actually going to, well, this whole section actually is going to be a Lehigh Gorge, but I think I'm going to extend it and come down onto the back side. These dividers are just set in place to give me an idea of what I'm working with. And as you'll take notice, I did get the foam sub base here, and then this piece of foam was also put in. So that's what I got done. Okay, moving along, you can see here in the bridge area, we now have the valley going down for the bridge. The right side's all glued and fastened in. I still have to glue this side, but it's all cut. And then we're moving along. You can see nothing's happened in the yard. And that's what an empty train yard looks like. And that might be a little hint of something to come. Moving along, you can see I got this back section set. So what I did was I found out where I wanted my track, traced the outside with a pencil, came in here, took the box cutter, utility knife, cut out what I wanted to take out of here, because this is 1-inch foam. So this actually drops the 1 inch from the foam here and meets the plywood right before it goes off the table there. This is going to be a tunnel, Whitehaven. the Whitehaven Tunnel. So we'll go out of there into Whitehaven Tunnel. It comes out, and you can see from above, there's the track that comes out from the underneath, and they're pretty much on top of each other. So if you follow along, we got this monster of a train. You can see the front, and you can see the end. And as we work our way down this table, we got the track in, the foam riser in, and we can run trains completely around the layout. Only DC, but I'll take it for now. So there is what this S-turn looks like with a full cut of cars on it. I really like how you just see the snake of cars go up through. They'll especially look good once the rivers and the mountains are in here for the Lehigh Gorge. And then we got the turn here, which I originally said this was going to be like the Lehigh Gorge State Park with the abandoned C&J tunnel. I'm moving that down further onto this side because eventually I am going over into underneath the stairs like I said in the last episode. It's just that that'll be a while from now. So moving along, I got the 2-inch foam. I ran out, or the, not 2-inch foam, the foam riser. It drops again, starts here at the 2-inch mark to go to 0. I don't have the bottom pieces because I used them in there to go the 1 inch. So the next time I go to the hobby store, I'm going to have to pick up 2 for there. So I just use shims to finish the loop so I can run trains in a circle for now. And you can see that's how it looks going back that way. And I'm really happy with it. I've run a lot of trains and haven't had any really issues yet with these long curves or the amount of curves in the long train. So we'll go ahead and get this monster of a train. We got 56 cars here counting the caboose, and we have the Lehigh Valley Cotto 282 leading, with the Lehigh Valley GE Norfolk Southern Heritage, and the Central Railroad of New Jersey SD70 Ace Norfolk Southern Unit. So I'm going to go ahead and get this train going, and we'll show you guys it making its voyage run around the loop. Okay guys, so we just finished up watching the first train to make its complete loop around the layout. And as we watched, it disappeared into that hole. So here's the rest of the changes since then. That's basically give you an idea of how the track plan unfolded. And now we'll take a look at the changes. So the first major change you can notice is that I have cut down the dividers. On the back side there, you can see where I painted the blue. That is where that one's going to get cut down to. So not much has changed on this side of the layout. So I took the framing down that was here because I changed my idea there. I do plan to build an addition on the layout out this way at some point. So the next really major upgrade that you haven't seen in this video would be the under loop, which is just a small square that goes around in a circle here underneath the viaduct, allowing to make pretty neat meet scenes between the two levels and recreate the Staruka viaduct scene. So as we come along, the viaduct has completely changed. If you've watched, that was recently, I cut the top deck down some, made the arches more prototypical between here and here. Moving along here, you got the road. Now I'm going to leave a link in the description for all the videos on the detail work. So there's 3 videos in the road showing how I started from scratch and got to that point. So we'll just keep moving along the layout. This section here, I have to rework the grade. It's still, the grade needs to be in here, but I might have to change some things to fit some switches for industries. Plus, when we get to the other side of the divider, I'll talk about another reason why I need to fix the grade here. But you can see those buildings. I just use them to create scenes throughout the layout for now until I am set in stone on what I want to do. So we're just going to keep following along here. And as we come up, not much has changed over here other than painting the backdrop. Now, this is where I said I want to add a double crossover in here at some point. But I don't want it on the grade. So I'm going to probably move the grade more towards the other side so I can get the double crossover in. Plus this switch right here, as you can see, is half on a grade and half on the flat. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why cars sometimes derail at this switch. So I want to fix that situation. So as we move along, you got the 8 tracks in the yard, which has pretty much been there the whole time. And if it wasn't, it was because I needed to buy the pieces. This section's basically become, for now, my car storage and locomotive storage. So as we slowly go through here, you can see some of the different pieces of rolling stock and locomotives that are here. So nothing really has changed there. Now as we get over to here, this is where most of the change has taken place. And when I talk about change, I'm talking about from what you just seen earlier in this video. So this whole side was built in to cover the track below, but allow me to create my scenery on top. When the track comes down, we started filling in all this area with foam to start building it up. This is where the town of Whitehaven's going to be. And I have these buildings just to get an idea of what I want to do there. So we come down, this has gotten bumped out. Originally, this was basically right on the edge of the layout. We've bumped this out to protect trains from derailing and also to give ourselves some nice area to work and fill in some scenery around the track. We started filling in the riverbed with this foam. As you can see all the way over here, it's raising it up 1/8 inches at a time with each sheet. So you can see how much nicer it looks. It's not so deep a valley. Like there's some spots where the river's going to be deeper than the edges, like having banks come down. But here on the upper portion of the Lehigh, I don't want to have that many of the banks. So as we move along, you're not going to be able to see too well, but inside the tunnel, I did some finish work. If I can get it to focus, there's the focus. So you can see the water that's in there, the effects, the rock wall, the painting. There's a video for that, so I'll also leave the description for the tunnel work and the link for the tunnel work in the description as the train rolls into the tunnel there. So coming around, the mountains got built up here and got sculpted and molded as well. We started building the base for the bike path, which is this. This is the rock wall that would be located in the Lehigh Gorge. And in real life, the track starts out flat with the bike trail. Then it reaches the retaining wall. The retaining wall starts very short and starts getting taller and taller as you go. And I'll put a picture in here of one of the Reading and Northern F units on the high section of the wall that I just took to show you like that the wall does get higher as it goes. And the one nice thing about taking the backdrop down is now I get these really nice shots of over the layout, and you can see so much more as you got the two trains working their way into the inner portion of the layout right there. And then coming down this side, nothing really has changed, and much won't change on this side. So basically this video is to give you an idea of how I got from nothing to what you see before you. I want to say that this is the farthest I've ever gotten on a train layout. I had the one N scale layout I started years ago, and I never even got to scenery. I had any type of scenery on it. It was just track on foam, and that's all the further I ever got. So I am very happy with the progress I made in 2 years, considering that this is a 16 foot by 11 foot layout with 87 feet of main line, I believe, 85. But you can see how cutting the divider down, it gives us some nice overviews of the layout. So you got two trains moving along on the inside. Now I can come around and I can get shots like this of the trains coming through the back of the yard over the top of the divider. And but yeah, so this is what the layout currently looks like. I really haven't done much since the last layout update than paint this blue that you see. And I will be getting back to modeling. I just have been doing a lot of other things and that have been eating into modeling time, and it'll come. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope this video helps you understand the track plan and how I got to the point I am. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you down the tracks.